Zach Benson was one of the main offensive drivers of the Winnipeg ICE last season as a 16-year-old, scoring 63 points in 58 games. And he's already up to a great start with the team this season. If he can keep up the same level of performance, he could become a top 10 pick at the 2023 NHL Draft. In this video, we will review one of his early season games to better understand his strengths, weaknesses, and his projection to the NHL.
Feather it forward, Benson to the net, he scores! Another shorthanded goal, second of the night for the Ice.
In this first shift, Benson comes back in his zone after his team failed an offensive rush. The puck is going to bounce to him. Benson is a very aware player. Before taking possession of the puck, he scans for his options. This head movement enables him to make this slip pass to his defenseman inside space here. The play turns into a forecheck. Benson is F2. He skates hard to pressure the opposing breakout. He anticipates the middle pass and catches it. Then he moves the puck to his defenseman who fires on net. This next shift gives us another indication that Benson is a good transition player. He gets the puck on the wall, but he has no available play. Instead of throwing a whole pass to the other side of the ice, he keeps control and tries to create space for his teammate to make a play. Then, Benson doesn't watch his pass. He accelerates to become an option for that teammate too, giving us a pretty good look at his stride. His skating output is not really a problem at this stage, but he's not a very agile mover. He skates in a wide stance and mostly lands on his inside edges, with some upper body noise. After many unsuccessful power plays, the Ice is back at 5-on-5. There's another defensive zone sequence. This goal looks like a mistake from Benson. Maybe he could have helped his teammates by taking away the stick of the opponent driving the slot. But this opponent is just as much Matt Savoy's coverage. Savoy didn't pick him up because number 19 here looked like a bigger threat to him. And that's because his teammate covered that number 19 a bit loosely. This play is a good example of why defense is a team affair. One late rotation can create a chain of breakdowns. This next play was a great attempt from Benson. There's a delayed offside, so his team regroups in the neutral zone. They steal the puck, Benson gets it, he buys time for his teammate to attack the slot, and feeds a pass that barely misses. The execution wasn't perfect here, but the setup was still very impressive. Once again, I like his scanning movements. Those scans allow him to measure his space with the defensive line and to adapt his route to receive this puck inside the lateral movement that carries him away from the defender. He drags the defender to the outside, then cuts inside. He keeps a deceptive posture and holds on to the puck until the very last moment to buy time for his teammate to get in a scoring position, even absorbing a hit to make that play. This shift starts with a face-off at center ice. Benson pressures opponents on the forecheck. Once again, he does it with pace and intensity. He removes the D2D pass and forces a play up the wall before coming back defensively. There's a rim and a loose puck, and Benson makes sure to establish body position on the opponent to prevent him from making a play on the puck. We get another look at his stride. His form doesn't allow him to fully shift his weight on each leg, which can become a problem when it comes time to elude defenders and feint them. I like that he slows down. He doesn't skate inside the defensive pressure. He creates a gap with it to have more space to receive the puck. Unfortunately, his teammate misses his pass. Benson and the chef continue to show that he can play away from the puck offensively very well. We already have some pretty good indications that Benson is a smart player. We see multiple examples of Benson's passing ability in this shift. There's this first pass under pressure in the neutral zone. Watch the landing spot. It's directly ahead of his teammate, but not too far. It doesn't land in the range of the defenseman. This pass makes it easy for his teammate to keep control of the puck under pressure, at least for a couple of seconds. This is still a 2 versus 5, so he does end up having to get rid of it. Then the other team attacks. Benson gets the puck back. He doesn't force a play on the breakout. He sends the puck back down, which allows him to get a return pass inside more space a moment later. I'm not sure Benson made the most optimal play here, but he still pulled off a pass in a pretty difficult situation. He attacked the defender wide and dragged him inside to create a lane for his teammate to pick up speed and the puck. Benson then attacked the slot, stick down inside space to become an option for a return pass. And he performed one last trick. Instead of stopping this rim with a defender on his back, he went with its momentum to separate from that defender and come back in front of the net for a scoring chance. What we can see so far is that Benson has some real playmaking abilities. He looks to make controlled plays to teammates, and he can manipulate defenders to do it. He also plays a pass and reposition style very well, as we can see here. As soon as the puck moves off his stick, he attacks space to give another option to his teammate. In terms of his physical game, of course, Benson is on the smaller side, but he does use his stick and frame well in battles. Better than most players. Like here, where he makes a play on the opponent's stick first. He prevents him from establishing control and then pins the hips of that opponent on the wall. Benson does remove himself from the play by doing this, but he creates enough space for his teammate to access the puck. Note the speed at which Benson repositions again. His feet rarely stop moving. That's a very projectable NHL quality, on top of all the other ones we already mentioned. There's a defensive zone faceoff here that turns into a 3-on-3 rush after the Ice gets the puck back. Maybe Benson overextends here. He's not really an option for his teammate, but his drive still opens space for Savoie to come in, get the puck and fire. There's another battle here. Benson wins it and he makes a really nice backhand pass to his teammate. That was a difficult play, but Benson has the stick handling precision to manage it. This is a good sequence overall for Benson because of the final play. He gets a little too close to Savoie in this rush. He pushes his defender in the path of his teammate. But then, Benson makes a very skillful blind pass for a scoring chance. This play is another example of his anticipation of the game and playmaking abilities. This pass from Benson is a little too optimistic on the breakout. It ends up becoming an icing. But a few seconds later, he makes a much better play. There's a breakout and he catches a loose puck in the neutral zone. Benson wants to get closer to the net, so he skates down, baits a poke check, drags the puck back, and then fires. The puck still catches an opposing stick, but this is a very good move that could serve Benson in other situations. We see Benson shooting skills again here. He gets a shift on a penalty kill, the other team tries to carry the puck in, but some good pressure by the Ice creates a turnover. Benson gets a breakaway, and he goes post and in on the goalie.
Boy will feather it forward. Benson to the net, he scores! Another shorthanded goal, second of the night for the Ice.
This next sequence makes it pretty clear that Benson will have to become a lot stronger if he wants to thrive in the NHL game. He places his body between the opponent and the puck, and he even tries to lean on the opponent and get on his outside edge to push back that opponent and prevent him from accessing the puck. He still gets pushed away, but that technical ability is still a good foundation for him to develop a much better physical game. There's a battle in a corner here in this shift, and then a rush. I really like this downshift by Benson. Once again, he tries to create a larger gap with the opposition to give a bigger window for his teammate to find him with a pass. Benson scored once in this game on a breakaway, but he made many other smart plays. What's important at this stage of the season, and even at this stage of his career, is not really the end result of some of those plays, but his overall thinking process. He scans a lot, he processes the play fast, he can anticipate it, and plan some of his offensive moves ahead of time to create more space for himself or teammates. If Benson can continue to show all of those elements consistently during the season, he will likely receive one of the top marks in this draft class for hockey sense. And he also has some technical ability to complement his reads, especially in the handling and passing categories.
Behind the net, a fancy cutback move now comes out the near side up front, they score! Benson with some shifty work behind the net, fed McLennan.
What Benson has to show before the end of the season is more special or game-breaking skills. A high hockey sense is the best attribute a prospect can have, but Benson still needs more defining abilities to really thrive in a more competitive environment like the NHL. Again, this is just a one-game evaluation, but we can say that Benson is off to a really promising start. If he keeps showing the same flashes of high-end thinking, and if he develops his scoring game and skills even more, he has a chance to become a top-end pick in this draft.
Clearing attempt knocked down nicely by Shipley. Then his pocket picked as the last man back. Benson racing up the ice, 2-on-0 with Savoie. Benson to Savoie, back to Benson, scores!
So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. You can also check out eprinkside.com for more prospect analysis.